Greetings and salutations, everyone. Today I will not show you my video camera because I don't have a shirt. So I'm going to make sure that the video capture device is taken off. It's really been a couple of very warm days here in Romania to the point where I think that I'm in hell. But yeah, so I'm going to make this recording shirtless. I'm going to sticks and hammer it. And we're going to have a nice time. But you're not going to see my beautiful skin. Speaking of my cat, someone in the chat said that the cat ate the camera. Man, like, I'm training my cat how to walk in a leash. You know, I generally don't know why people don't do this, but it's quite doable. Like, you put a harness on your cat. You don't just put a leash on it to strangle it. But you put a harness on it, and then you can just walk like it's a dog. So let me show you how it looks like, right? So you can get a clear view. I'm going to record some footage as well, upload it on my main channel. But when you walk a cat out, I mean, it looks pretty much like this. Okay, let me just show you guys the image. Let's skip the commercial. The Colgate is still on Google after the leaks. Okay, so it looks something like this. All right, like this is how my cat also does it. Just walk with the cat. All right, this woman is dual wielding, I guess. I'm not really that advanced at this stage, but yeah, it's quite possible. All right, but it comes with a couple of. Comes with a couple of problems. Number one, literally every single person you'll meet on the street, they're going to be like, oh my god, is that a cat? Oh, is it a cat? Oh, can I pet it? And it's like, you know, if you want to do like a 10-minute walk, it's going to turn into a 30-minute walk because everyone wants to pet the kitty. Now, the problem with this is sometimes you have people that have dogs. Okay, and most of these people seem to be retarded. Like, they think if they see a cat on a leash, it's the same like a dog on a leash, right? So there was like this person with a poodle, right? And it wants to let the poodle play with my cat, and I informed them that it is a very bad idea. All right, like I tell them, like, no, don't do it. Now, the person, in its infinite wisdom, actually like lets the poodle come closer, and I couldn't like pull the harness right away because you shouldn't tug the cat, especially when it's scared, because then it does really bad things. And the poodle got close to my cat. Suffice to say, that poodle is never going to want to sniff another cat again. Like, it wasn't even funny. Like, first of all, I don't have a cat, I have a Bengal cat. Like, their claws are twice as big as normal cats, okay? And secondly, yeah, if you have a dog and you find a retard like me with a cat on a leash, you know, even if your dog is very friendly and very kawaii and the cat is the same, do not let the dog go next to the cat, okay? Just don't. Common fucking sense. I thought most people understand this. This person did not. And then the dog made some sounds that were like, bow, 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 bow. Okay. Yeah, the poodle could have lost an eye. Like, the Bengals aren't fucking around, you know? Like, the Bengal, like, did its job. It hissed at the dog. It arched its back. Like, it was telling it to fuck off. But no, the dog was, like, coming really close and being... and by the time I managed to take my cat away, it already got a couple of scratch marks. But, you know, that's what you get. Avlok for $2. Macron lied about Bolsonaro. Photos from 30 years ago. Yeah, I mean... I understand that Bolsonaro is responsible for like what 7,000 forest fires. Like that is very interesting. I don't think like this is how I knew that the news is fake. Like you're expecting the Brazilian government to actually accomplish something. Like you know that was like what actually told me that the news is bullshit. Like you can't expect the Brazilian government to actually accomplish things that it sets out to do. So. If the Brazilian government wanted to set fire to the forest, I guarantee to you that the forest would be soaking wet right now. You know, like, when the Brazilian government tries to do something, the opposite is true. Now, if you were to say that the Brazilian government tried to put out forest fires and it led to a bigger forest fire, I would have been, no, yeah, that's legit. Yeah, no, I can believe that, you know. Sarah J. Jacobson wants me to show bobs. I don't have a single bob, let alone two. So, yeah. What did the owner do to me? Nothing. Like, the owner realized that it was stupid because I immediately picked up the cat and got myself scratched. Alright? Like, that's what I did for that freaking dog. Like, I injured myself in an attempt to save that poodle. But never again. Like, from now on, honest to God, if I tell someone don't come close to the cat, alright, like, I'm the cat owner, I understand what the cat is, I know what it's going to do. If I tell them don't come close to the cat and they come close to the cat, then I'm going to let them suffer the consequences. It is insane. I generally, like, do not understand the mentality of some people. If you have an animal, read a little bit about its psychology. Like, read a little bit about... There was also a kid that wanted to touch the cat after the cat got spooked, and I told it no. And luckily the mother listened to me, because otherwise would have been bad for the kid as well. But, you know, by the way, like, I was at the restaurant and I saw something really interesting again. There was a mother that had a kid on a leash. And I was looking at it, and the mother looked at me, and you could see, like, the fuck expression on my face. Like, that was the most bourgeoisie thing that I have ever seen in my entire life. Like, a kid on a leash. How the fuck does that even work? Like, if the kid, for example, goes somewhere you don't want and you tug, isn't the kid going to fall over and injure itself? Because it's not like a dog, you know, like with a dog you can tug on the leash and the dog is just going to go like, but it's not going to fall over, right? A kid on a leash. That was like, let me see if I can find it. Like, people are actually selling this. Leashes for kids. It must be on Google. Oh, there you go. Like, look at it. Look at this. This is just, let me just go through the commercial. People say, why don't I install ad blocker? Like, yeah, me, the YouTuber, making money from ads, installing ad block. Yeah, you thought that one correctly, yeah. Now, this kid is a little bigger, alright? But, let me see if I can, where on earth is it? Like, I just want to show an image. Oh, here we go, right? This is how it looks like. This is how it looks like. What the fuck? You know? Let's, there you go. Look. What the hell is that thing? You know, like, I didn't have one when I grew up. And again, like, oh, look at this. This is just, like, the most bizarre thing that I have ever seen, right? Like, this is not natural. Like, the thing is, again, how do you control the kid? Like, I get the point. No, I get the point. You know, like, if you're in a neighborhood with a lot of cars, alright, and the kid is misbehaved, but when you tug the leash, isn't the kid going to fall down? Like, how do you, Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, the shock collars would work better. The shock collar, I would at least understand it. You know, like, kids are actually very smart. It would understand that if it moves outside a certain area, it gets buzzed. Okay, that is something like I get it. Like, click, 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 click. You know, the kid goes like, ah! I think the kid gets like 2 or 3 click, 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 and then it understands that it needs to stay within a certain range of the adult. But someone points out it's a harness. Yeah, but again, like, if it's a harness, you still tug on it, and the kid goes bleh and falls down, right? Like, I generally do not understand the I keep hearing kids being thrown frequently by people of color. I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, see, that's why the shock collar is even better. Like, if someone tries to kidnap your kid, there are videos on the internet with people trying to kidnap kids. You know, if you try to kidnap the kid, then you activate the shock collar. It goes click, 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 and the kidnapper also gets the jolt. So there's that. Let me see if I can actually find it on YouTube. Kids being kidnapped. One of the most harrowing videos that I have seen. It was shown by Was shown by the Imam of Peace. But no, like I don't have the video, but it's really harrowing. Like the way some people kidnap these children, that they make it seem so natural. Like they make it almost seem like let's see if I can. Oh, look at this one. Look at this one. And honestly, like the fact that they're kidnapping them with their parents, right? Like. Like, they don't give a shit, you know, the middle of the daylight. Look at this. Look at this, you know, it's like, aren't you happy you live in America? You know, I'm really happy I live in Romania and I don't get to see this bullshit. My God. Or this one. This one is quite chilling as well, look at it. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Look at this. Look. Just like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's like, a lot of people don't understand. Oh, America. Oh, racist police. Yeah, you don't get this shit happening in your country, do you? You know, I would be looking quite as a fool if it ends up that some of these were actually from America, huh? I don't know where they're from, but man, like, still, these are a lot better than what's happening in China. Well, luckily they were on tape, so. Do I plan on making other 40k videos? I don't know, depends how well that video is going to do. Brainwash gave me 37 rubles. I got rubles from Putin land. Because whoever loves Romania, best gypsy, I'm not a gypsy. Don't shit on us like that. By the way, according to Macron's logic, if Bolsonaro set Amazon on fire, the French burned Notre Dame. Oh, that's so snap! Oh, snap! Oh, snap! I will make a video about that. That is just, oh. And I will steal it. I will steal it. And I will not give you credit for the joke. Well, not the joke, the implication. Also, apparently, they're not rubles. They're Brazilian dollars. Brazilians have dollars. Man, like, I'm not shitting on Brazil, but it's a reality, you know? Like, I shit on my government all the time. Like, how would I be able to sleep at night shitting on the Romanian government if I wouldn't look at other countries and shit on them as well, right? And the thing with Brazil is not necessarily like it's a bad country. Like, there are very nice places in Brazil. But you also have a couple of shitholes. Like, if you look at the prison system in Brazil, like, there are certain penitentiaries where the inmates run the place. Like, what do you mean the inmates run the place? I mean, like, the inmates have access to firearms within the prison. And the guards are just pretty much like turning the prison into an enclave. Like, they have the no man's land. And then you have like the prison guards outside of that. You know, and they try to contain the prisoners within the prison, but inside the prison there are no laws except what the prisoners make. Like, it is insane, and I think Bolsonaro tried to crack down on that a little bit. You know, it was like, oh, okay, that is a little bit too much, you know. EU talking heads love to thread on the sovereignty of nations like Brazil, especially with a lot of interest of their pharmacas and etc. They pose as saviors, spinning a very woke narrative, jokes on them. Yeah, I mean, man, if you look at the cultural appropriation by certain Marxists from the European Union towards Brazil, you will see that a lot of money is going into Brazil in order to promote a very woke leftist agenda. And the reason they're also living is because Bolsonaro said that, yeah, if you want to be woke, do it on your own private money, not on government money. Like, a lot of these leftist organizations, they're like ticks, like parasites. They start promoting their bullshit programs, cultural enrichment programs, on the public dime, you know, like on the public taxpayer money. And that's what Viktor Orban also did. It's like, look, you want gender studies? That's fine. If you want gender studies, then have it on a private university. In fact, Viktor Orban didn't even do that. Like, a lot of the the Soros-run universities weren't following the law. You know, they were above the law. And when the law had to be applied to them, they're like, bloody murder. Oh, how can you? How can you do something like this? Non Vita Rex for $5. No, but think about it. Just the very idea that you can spread your ideology on the taxpayer dime is mind-baffling to me. It's like, you know, like, it's so genius, to be honest. It's like, yeah, the people of that country pay money for them to be subverted by foreign propaganda. It is awesome. You know, it's like, what can I say? Right. Let's talk about Hasan Piker. Let's see what happened to Hasan. My man. My main man. I love Hasan. You know, a lot of people think that Hasan is a bad thing. I think it's the best thing that could have happened to leftist ideology in a while. Let me see if I can find the article. Well, all right. I keep finding, like, I'm Googling it, and I find Tim Pool videos on it. When Tim Pool is actually better than the actual news. All right. Let me just try to find it on YouTube, and then I'll use Tim Pool's video to read the article. Fuck me. It's not even on his main channel. He's hiding it. He's using his secondary channel to fool the algorithm. That's what he is doing, huh? Alright. I think we found it. Twitch suspends popular leftist streamer. I love it's like popular leftist streamer. It's like, no, it's a communist, okay? Like, if I were to go back in time, when Hitler used to have a YouTube channel, because that's how I understand the far right is being spread, is by, you know, the internet. Like, before the internet, none of this used to be a problem. And I would call, you know, Hitler's channel to be a popular right-wing channel gets suspended. You'd have the leftists freaking out. It's like, oh, it's fascism, and they would be right, you know? Like, I generally do not consider Hasan Piker to be left. He is far left. It's very important to have these definitions. But anyway, right, so Twitch decided to suspend him after the controversial 9/11 comments. Here's the thing. I'm really sad, and I'll make a video about it. I don't like the fact that he got suspended, alright? I want this person to have a megaphone. I legitimately want every single person in the United States to hear what he has to say. Word for word. You know, like, if I had the button to donate subscribers to Hasan Piker, I would do it. Like, I want this guy to have a voice, you know? Like, I do not like the fact that he is suspended, so I think we need hashtag free Hasan Piker. You know, like, I genuinely disagree with Twitch's decision. And not to mention, like, I don't even think it's hate speech. You know, like, it's not hate. Towards whom is it hate speech? You know? Towards what minority, huh? Like, which minority is suffering because of Hasan Piker's political opinions? No, I think he should. And, you know, like, his association with the actor should also be highlighted. This idea of bad people. No, hashtag free Hasan Piker. I think Devin Tracy needs to start it up. He's got a more engaged fan base than I do. Yeah, it's like the bread analogy he used on Jesse's debate. Like, why would you want people to be silenced? You know? Now, the only thing that censorship is doing, because they constantly say, oh, like, free speech doesn't exist. It's like, look, usually you'll have a communist say something ridiculous, and then when you defend the person, right? Like, when you attack the person using your own free speech, you get censored because the standards for what the left can say are quite low. Like, you can go advocate. Like, he actually said that he wants to arm the proletariat at one point. Okay? I'm not even making it up. Like, this is something that came out of his mouth. Like, you can advocate for violence, and if you're a leftist, it's fine. You know? Imagine if a right-wing person would say, we need to arm the hillbillies. You know? Or something like that. Oh, my God. Oh, Dios mío. Turkey deserves Christmas. Yeah, definitely. Okay, right. So apparently it was his comments on 9/11, and now Kotaku is writing an article. Nathan Grayson of Kotaku, the Zoe Quinn. Uh, how would you say it? Zoe Quinn used Nathan Grayson to get pushing for the cushion. Is this correct? Is that right? Fucking female game developers to give them better coverage. Kotaku. 10 out of 10. I am somewhat disappointed at Hasan, but still support him because he could easily avoid this drama by being less outrageous. Yeah, he could have learned a little bit from the right wing, saying that the responsibility for 9/11 was largely a function of U.S. imperialism. Man, I really hate the United States is not an empire. Okay, if it was an empire, it would have annexed Mexico and Canada by now. Holy shit. Seriously, like, just think about it, right? No, it's a world hegemon. It's different, okay? Birds of a feather and all that, but not... You know, we have a saying in Romania, not everything that flies is comestible, right? You can't eat everything that's in the air. It's the same, like, the United States is not an empire, for the love of God. It is a world hegemon, though. But it's a superpower, yeah, but it's not... That's like saying China is an empire. But anyway, so apparently because of the Middle East, which led to the creation and objectives of Al-Qaeda. As for his comments on Crenshaw, fuck this guy and fuck his eye. Oh, I love the fact that the left is agreeing with him. Like, this is another guy that would require a megaphone, you know? Here's the thing. This is what boggles my brain. If I were to make fun of a guy in a wheelchair, huh? Do you guys remember when Donald Trump made fun of that journalist with a crooked hand? You know, he had a hand problem. Let me show you If I would have a hand like that, masturbation would be on difficult level. Trump makes fun of hand. Let's see. Trump makes fun of Beto O'Rourke's hand movements. Okay, so let me see who Beto O'Rourke is. So we can look at his hand. Beto O'Rourke hand. No, apparently like his hand is fine, but he has like a nervous twitch on it or something. All right, whatever. Right. So you know, like Trump makes fun of a guy's hand, and the left is like, oh, right. But if you make fun of a guy in a wheelchair, same thing. And I understand these sentiments, don't get me wrong. Like, I completely understand the outrage. Because you're basically, like, punching really down. You know, like, some people got a bad card in life, and you are being the asshole to making fun of something that they really can't help. You know? But how is it different when you're making fun of a guy without an eye? Like, what? I would rather be in a wheelchair than lose an eye. Maybe other people aren't like me. You know? But I think vision is quite important. So, like, apparently it's quite okay to make fun of people that don't have an eye. He just gave the ideologues he disapprove of just low-hanging fruit to discredit him. Yeah, but, see, if I keep saying that communists are violent and vile, when a communist shows me that they're violent and vile, isn't that like, oh, they're giving me ammunition? No, they're just saying what I've been saying all along, you know? It doesn't really take much. It's the same with National Socialist. If I say that, yeah, National Socialist is a violent ideology, and then someone says, oh yes, you know, something disparaging about Israel and the Jews, you say, oh, you gave ammunition to V. It's like, no, it's coherent with their ideology. Look, he is right though. We deserve something, but the death of 2,500 civilians wasn't it. Like what did those civilians do? But let me tell you something else, right? These people don't understand principles. Like, why is the West condemning terrorist attacks? Because a lot of people don't get the difference between a soldier and a terrorist, right? Terrorists don't think that certain targets are not okay. All right, like they basically say, you know, every single target is acceptable, and not only that, but they specifically go out of their way to target women and children, like at the Ariana Grande concert, you know, in order to terrorize, to make people feel less safe. soldiers attack military targets. And by the way, like, don't get me wrong, there are overlaps. You know, you might have a terrorist that also attacks a military target, and you might have a soldier that attacks civilians, and that's what we call war crimes. But if you don't want to make the distinction, if you want to subvert the idea that, oh yeah, you know what, every terrorist is a soldier, well, if that's the case, then you don't have any moral, legal framework to say America shouldn't carpet bomb places. You know, it's like, what does it matter? Like, if that's the way they want to fight, you know, sure, let's fight like that. But the reason we in the West are considered civilized is because killing civilians is wrong. All right? And if it wasn't wrong, then the Middle East would have been American by now. Because you wouldn't have anyone, you know, uprising against the United States. And by the way, like, this is how wars were conducted throughout human history, right? Like, you would have the, what was it? The Golden Horde. They were called, what is it with my brain right now? It's not working. The Tatars, right? Like, the Tatars is also an example. They did the same. Or the Huns. The Huns is a better example. They would go to a city, and if the city didn't surrender and they had to attack it, literally everyone, man, woman, and child within the city walls would have been killed. Right? Like, they would actually round up people, line them up, and slit their throats. That's how war was conducted, and this is why we look back and we say, yeah, those people were savages through our morality, because you don't do these things. So this is why if you are to say that the Al Qaeda, you know, they're just like soldiers fighting, then okay, let's have the war at a different level of philosophy, and then you're the one that's going to be shrieking, saying, oh my God, it's immoral. I generally cannot believe I have to use these arguments, you know? I do not believe that I'm actually going to have to explain to people the difference between a soldier and an unlawful combatant. The Crusaders did the same. Well, you know, like being dragged through the desert for months kind of do that to a person from the medieval time period. But anyway, right? Let's talk about Netanyahu proposing a little genocide. You know, a little interesting topic that I have to cover right now. Someone asked me to talk about it. I don't think they're going to appreciate what I'm going to have to say, but all right. So Netanyahu offers to ethnically cleanse Gaza at his own expense. Is this not something that you want to say? I think like this comes after legislation in the United States. It hasn't passed yet, but it's being proposed that if you compare Israel with Nazi Germany, that should be illegal. Brilliant. But all right, let's talk a little bit about Palestine first, because a lot of people don't know what Palestine is or who they are. Like, a lot of people just think, oh, you know, there's some people that are being oppressed somewhere, but they don't really delve into the rich, deep history and rich lore that Palestine has. All of the Muslim nations in the area, all of them, not a single one, kicked Palestinians out. All right, like throughout history, they have persecuted the Palestinian people by kicking them out. You know, every single one. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, like, feel free to tell me of a nation that is open borders for Palestine. I'm generally curious, right? But also, every single nation within the geographical area hates Jews. So now that the Jewish people are in charge of the Palestinian problem, well, I say problem because, yeah, they are actually being oppressed over there to a certain degree. If you want to discuss if it's reasonable or not, let me know. But for example, you know, Israel built a wall, and certain people from Palestine decided to have a grenade launcher and lob grenades over the wall onto the passing cars on Israel. You know, so they had to build the wall higher. Now, is that oppression? Yeah, like, there shouldn't be a wall. But is it, like, does it have a rational explanation? Yeah, it does. Now, with that said, all of the Muslim nations all of a sudden really care about the Palestinian people. You know, and you go to American universities and you see Muslim students waving the Palestinian flag, Bernie Sanders rallies. And this is mostly because Qatar and Saudi Arabia pumped millions of dollars into American universities in order to do agitation and propaganda. You know, it's like, oh, those horrible Jewish people, oh, they're doing what we used to do. You know, like, that's pretty much it. So it's a little bit hypocritical. Now, what also happens, like Netanyahu is proposing something very interesting. First of all, I really hate the word genocide that the UN is describing it, because this was done in the past by the Ottoman Empire, by the Russian Empire, by the communists, and by other nations, and it wasn't called a genocide when you look at it in history. The forceful removal of people, it's called. And it's still bad, alright? Like, you're destroying communities, but it's not really like, when you say genocide, I expect, like people lined up against the wall and shot. That is like what most people explain. But in this particular case, Netanyahu is saying that he will pay, like he will offer money to the citizens of Gaza to go to an undisclosed Muslim country. So, you don't like it there, we will pay you to leave. Now, the main issue with this is that there is no Muslim nation that wants to take them. Because so far as I know, again, like maybe I'm wrong, maybe things happened since the last time I got informed. It's been a couple of years since I read the Game of Thrones of the Middle East, because it is like Game of Thrones there. But from what I know, like all of the nations surrounding Israel don't want Palestinians. They didn't take any Palestinian refugees. And they're more than willing to let them come to Europe if they would desire, but not to keep them there. So, like Netanyahu thing seems to be more like a PR stunt, to just tell the people, it's like, look, if it's so bad here, we'll pay you to leave. And the Muslim nations are going to, now go like, okay, look, we're going to pay you to have some of the people that you don't like us oppressing. And, like it's just a PR stunt. Like, it's not something that they will actually do, because I don't think any Muslim nation wants them. That's the thing. Bland land will take them all. Yeah, I mean, to me it's just an interesting political rhetoric, but it's not actually going to happen. This is also moving out Christians, not just Muslims. Like everyone in the Gaza Strip. Literally anyone in the Gaza Strip that, like if this would actually be a thing, anyone that lives there could take money from the Israeli government in order to leave towards an undisclosed Muslim nation. I don't think it's going to happen, but whatever. Speaking of propaganda and things like this, Bernie Sanders has a very interesting statement. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders. Pay wage gap. Black, Native, and non-white Hispanic women are the most effective. So non-white Hispanic women, Native women, Black women, white women, Asian women, and then white men. Now, if I see that white women earn less than Asian women, why don't I see how much Asian men are earning? Or, as I understand Bernie Sanders being a Jewish person, why doesn't this have how much Jewish people earn? Maybe they're under non-white Hispanic women. Like, I want to see Jewish men compared to the other ones. I can't be informed. I want to see the full picture. I want to get all the stats so I can, because I understand it's bad what the white men are doing, right? But I want to see like all the comparisons to see who is at the top of the ladder. Bernie, who is at the top of the ladder? Or also, let's talk about the wage gap between people in the US Congress living on the taxpayer dime and the rest of the population. Let's see that wage gap. I want to see it. How much is the cleaning lady from McDonald's earning compared to Bernie Sanders? Not to mention, Bernie Sanders was recently under fire because he doesn't pay his employees. Like, look at this. This is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Can you believe it? Like, look, he is oppressing people. Bernie Sanders controversy over low-paid field staffers. No, say it ain't true, Bernie. Say it ain't true. Hashtag raise the wage, Bernie, for everyone, but not your staffers, huh? So turns out he is paying his staffers beneath minimum wage. Sad but true. Now, don't get me wrong, he is paying them according to the market price, and I have absolutely nothing against it. But When you're the one that is trying to lecture corporations about minimum wage and fair wages and shit like that, you know, it would be nice. It would be nice if you do what you preach. You know, to show the corporations the light. To show that yeah, it's possible to pay them a living wage. Not so much though. And you know what he did? You know what he did? Instead of increasing the wage, he shortened their hours. Do you know what this means? Because I actually have, like, anyone who actually has a job and has work understand why this is a problem. Like, if you're paid, let's say, $1,000 for 8 hours of work in Romania, right? And then they say, all right, we're going to shorten your work hours. So now you have like 6 hours and you still earn $1,000. Like, a lot of people will say, oh yeah, you know what, like that's a good business. That's a good business because now I work less. You know, I have more time for myself. I have more time to go home, watch Bernie Sanders speak and masturbate. You know, like that. But in reality, you still have the same work quota. So now you have to do everything you did in 8 hours, you have to do it in 6. And what a lot of people do is they realize, oh shit, I can't do this in 6 hours. So they spend the extra 2 hours unofficially. That's really how it goes. But talking about that would actually constitute journalism and might be a problem. Bernie has just moved to the end stage of communism where money is no longer necessary, comrade. Yeah, definitely. You know, like, if you want to play the game, the conquest for bread, work for Bernie Sanders. That's definitely what you need to do. Does anyone believe Bernie will just increase taxes? All his promises, he can't do it, even Andrew Yang. In America, you could also defund the military. You know, you can take a little bit of money from the defense funds and give them somewhere else, I guess. All right. Let's talk about something else. Stunning and brave. New Zealand, stunning and brave. Jacinda Ardern dons hijab as she fronts Islamic Women's Council National Conference. Look how happy she is. And she realized that she needs to cover up in the face of the Lord. Yeah, like God told her to be humble, and she was like, yes, my Lord. Yes, my Lord, I should put the Sith helmet on. You know, like the Sith, what would you be like, the Sith hood? Huh? Like, did you guys play Star Wars The Old Republic? All the Sith had the cool hood, you know, and the yellow eyes and like, let's talk about some real world politics right now for a bit, if that's okay. All right, so Iran hijab protests. Look at this. Right? A lot of people keep forgetting about it. But yeah, I mean, all these ladies right here, every single one of them. Look how many. Can you gather so many women at one place? Even if it's a sale at the mall, I don't think you can do it. They were protesting the forced hijab after the Iranian Revolution. But you know what? Like, go tell them it's a choice. You know, go tell them it's a choice. Do you know what's funny? Like, this whole virtue signaling, it's like, oh, I am so progressive. Oh, I have a hijab. Yeah, if you want to actually act like a Muslim woman, never take it off in public again. Alright? That's solidarity. Like, don't put it and take it off. Because if that was the case, the one is complaining about nuns, for example. You know, when they're in the church, they have to wear the uniform. And when they're out, like, no one is like... No, but like, these ladies, alright? These ladies, they were upset because they never are allowed to take it off again. So, it's a little bit interesting. Let me show you something else. Let's go a little bit more recent. You know, like maybe this is old news that I'm showing. Iranian women call on Western tourists to violate hijab law to fight against oppression. Oh, I see. Oops. Big yikes from me. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that she should like take a stance against the hijab or anything, but when she does things like this, she is hurting oppressed people in other nations, right? Like, there is no reason why a non-Muslim woman should wear the hijab. None whatsoever. I wouldn't expect you know, a Muslim woman to wear a crucifix or to have those Catholic prayer beads. You know, like imagine after the what was it? The Sri Lanka terrorist attacks, where thousands of Christians died at the hands of terrorists. Do you think muftis were sporting crucifixes in order to show solidarity? Like, how would you even view that as a Westerner, as a Christian? You know, you see a Muslim that all of a sudden decides to wear a cross in solidarity. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, just stop it. Leave the Easter worshippers alone. Like, if you haven't done it, just condemn it, disavow it, and move on. You know, like. Let me show you something else that a lot of people probably don't know. Let me show you from Egypt. Egypt hijab. Here you go. It's you know shit's about to go down when the video is black and white.
50 كنا نريد فعلا مخلصين ان احنا نتعاون مع الاخوان المسلمين على ان يسيروا في الطريق الصحيح والطريق السليم. وقابلت المرشد العام للاخوان المسلمين وقعد وطلب مطالب. طلب ايه؟ اول حاجة قال لي يجب ان تقيم الحجاب في مصر وتخلي كل واحدة تمشي في الشارع تلبس طرحة.
Look how they're laughing. Okay? These are Muslim people. They're not... And by the way, right? This is from 1958. Your parents were probably alive that time. Unless you're the old lady that likes to listen to me, and I appreciate your viewership, and you might have been alive at that time as well. You're laughing at the idea of making hijab mandatory.
كل واحدة تمشي. وأنا قلت لهم يعني إذا الواحد قال هذا الكلام بيقولوا رجعنا لأيام الحاكم بأمر الله اللي كان بيخلي الناس ما يمشوش بالنهار ويمشوا بالليل. أنا في رأيي إن كل واحد في بيته هو اللي ينفذ هذا الكلام.
Oh, what a bigot! What a bigot! Oh, the fascistische, the fascistische Egyptian. Oh, so much hatred. Oh, I'm actually scared I might get demonetized for hate speech. Oh, wow, that's this hateful bigot.
فقال لي لا أنت باعتبارك الحاكم مسؤول. قلت له يا أستاذ انت ليك بنت في كلية الطب مش لابسة طرحة ولا حاجة.
Imagine that, you know, it's almost like Saudi Arabia, you know, like the royal family, they go out, they go into Western nations, they drink, they fuck, they do a lot of haram things. But when you're the leader, better make sure your people are behaving.
ما لبستهاش طرحة ليه؟ فكنت انت إذا كنت أنت مش قادر تلبس بنت واحدة اللي هي بنتك طرح، عايزنا ننزل ألبس 10 مليون طرح في البلد الناس.
Yeah, inshallah, Allah Akbar. But yeah, I mean this is what used to be in the Middle East, yeah, and I don't think that the West really knows what side the compass is pointing towards freedom. People are saying this guy is great. Well, you know, what can I say? Rest in peace, Nasser. Yeah, he was really great. But Fat Andrew Ryan. Yeah, I mean, people don't know history. People don't understand like even a little bit of what happened in these nations and the situation there, and they get involved into political virtue signaling that is actually hurting the people that are trying to bring forth positive change in those countries. Also, thank you there for 20. Now it seems that your donation is a little bit more red than usual. Interesting. My opinion on Nasser. Yeah, he had good things, he had bad things. I mean, do you want me to go through my opinion on Nasser in a 15-minute video? Still better than what the Egyptians got, that's for sure. But anyway, yeah, I mean, maybe I'll make a video. I usually, like, when I talk about things that are historical, a lot of people don't watch. I talked about Zimbabwe. I talked about South Africa. And very few people actually watch those videos. So I decided that, you know, people don't want to see it, they don't want to see it. It is hot in Egypt. Man, like, I'm curious how hot it is in those pyramids. Like, you know, going under that scorching sun into buildings done by bricks, it's probably like an oven in there. I do want to visit one day. But we'll see. Let's look at what else we got. Ah, this is amazing. This is which Kushi levels. Canadian single dad faces human rights complaint for asking about babysitter's gender. Now, this is interesting. It's interesting. I don't know if the person was trans, huh? The father, blah blah blah, for a babysitter. He was planning a meeting, blah blah blah. So he received several responses, skills such as CPR, first aid. I'm male. All right. So the guy didn't want to hire a male. Now here's the thing. I think certain jobs should discriminate on gender. I know it's a little bit. V, how can you say that? Well, if you have a woman-only gym, right? Women-only gym. There are these places, right? Of course, you're going to hire women that work there. Women-only gym, right? Bouncers at nightclubs, they get to decide who gets in and who doesn't get in, and a lot of times, like, they will decide to bounce, you know, men while allowing the pretty ladies in because that's good for business. Now, in the case of babysitters, when I was a kid, I was really upset that I couldn't find a job because after I finished high school, I wanted to get my own money, you know, I wanted to do my own shit and hopefully move out or at least try to rent a place or something. And all the jobs in the newspapers were hiring female cleaner, you know, like a janitor, like in my country we call it the cleaning lady. Like it's such a popular job for women that even the name of the profession is the cleaning lady. They had hiring babysitters, and obviously only women. And they would also only hire women for video chat, which was a very lucrative business at the time. Now, in the case of babysitter, yeah, it pissed me off because I was like, wow, that is such a dream job. Like, you go to a place, you get a kid, you know, you feed it, you send it to bed, and then you watch television all night. You know, like that and you make money. Like, they pay you for that. You know, you go there, maybe you play some Monopoly with the kid, you talk with him a little bit, you send him to bed. Like, how hard can it be? You know? But yeah, they check your genital and they wanted women. But now, you know, as I grow up and I realize that one day I might have my own kid, yeah, I would probably more likely get a woman than a man. You know, I'm a little bit of bigoted that way. But hey, I'm not for equality. I'm not a gender communist, you know? Now in Canada, yeah, there is a law which doesn't allow you to discriminate. And as such, yeah, the man did violate and he's probably going to have to pay a fine. But what this will do is not, you know, fix the issue. What this will do is that people will still hire women. Like, they will put an ad out and then interview people and just say, oh, no, sorry, you're not what I'm looking for, until they find a woman. Or just stop needing babysitters. You know, like, you have grandparents, and the babysitting industry is going to take a nosedive. Like, when it comes about, you know, who you let with your kid, like, when it comes about who you allow to spend time with your child, I don't think people should be able to be picky about it. You know, like, for any reason. Even like, okay, I don't like this guy's face. You know, absolutely any reason. I think children are sacred in that way, and they are a protected class. So, you know, they are the most vulnerable minority in society, if you will. Maybe they should They should be a majority if you want the social programs to work. But in my country, they're a minority. So yeah, no, like absolutely. Any single thing, like it doesn't matter. The parent should have a reason to discriminate as much as he wants when it comes to allowing people to spend time with your kids, like unsupervised. I used to babysit while in HS with my friend. We specialized in babysitting kids. No other wanted to babysit. We charge more, of course. Kids can be annoying that you just want to throw yourself out the window. Man, if I was a babysitter, I would have brought my Nintendo. Okay, you bring your Nintendo to that kid's house and you play video games with him, you know, and all of a sudden, oh look, the Nintendo broke. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Well, let's go to bed. I'll try to fix it. Maybe it will work in the morning. You know, like, you can, there are so many ways. Like, if I were to babysit right now, I would have to learn to play Fortnite. You know, I come with my laptop. Like, oh, kid, you got Fortnite? Yeah, okay, let's hit it up. You know, like, let's watch some Beauty Pie. Let's watch some Beauty Pie. It's obviously if he just wants the baby to be transphobic. Thank you, Living John. Living John gave me $5. People want me to turn live chat. Well, not really, because it's just 9 more minutes. That shit only works on toddlers, V. Well, is it like why you get a babysitter to have a toddler? Like, I mean, if the kid is older, then I don't know. Maybe we can have a discussion on politics, you know, if the kid is older. Maybe we can talk about the fact that the Deutsche Bank might be collapsing soon and mommy and daddy might get fired and you might be living on the streets. You know, like maybe that's something. And then I go like, yeah, I'm not talking to you. And he goes in his room. Oh, perfect. Like you can have that. People are like, fuck you. But seriously though, like all jokes aside, man, this thing with the Deutsche Bank is quite chilling. It is bad, and there is going to be an economic crisis that is going to happen. So if you have any common sense, don't have any money in the bank. Like if you sold your house, if you got an inheritance, if you sold your car, you know, make sure you have that money at handy, you know, and paper money, or turn it into gold. Another way you can, you know, or buy some property. Like property, you know, like the thing with property is that, yeah, sure, like you might actually have something that is worth a specific amount, and you buy it for 30,000 euros, and then, you know, the economy collapses and now it's worth 10,000 euros. But the thing with property is that it will always maintain value over time. Like after the crisis passes, people still need houses, you know, so you can always rent up your place. I wouldn't go with bitcoins. People don't know what's this bank thing that you should be worried. Well, Deutsche Bank, one of the biggest banks in Germany, is most likely going to collapse soon. Now, the European Union is saying, no, that's not going to happen. But yes, it will happen. Like, they already fired a lot of people from there. They're doing really bad financially. And when the Deutsche Bank collapses, well, considering that Germany is the engine of the European Union, what do you think is going to happen to the rest of the countries? I'll tell you, austerity measures. A lot of German companies are going to be affected. It's going to be bad. But, you know, from the ashes, maybe a new order will arise. What I have to say about it is that if you're smart and you have like a certain nepotism, like you have access to a lady working at a bank, what you can do when the crisis hits, ask the lady to tell you when the bank sells houses for auction. Right? Because there's going to be a lot of people that can't pay for their loans, and the bank is going to have to sell their house. So when that happens, if you can actually have access to the auction and you know it's going to take place, you can buy some really good property for really cheap. Okay, so if you have like you managed to sell a car, or you got some inheritance, or you just made a lot of money recently and you hoarded it up, then you can buy property that is worth $40,000, $50,000 for just $10,000, $50,000, right? And then you can sell it, so you can flip it. Like that is a good way to make money during a crisis. Nobody can bail out Deutsche Bank. It is just too big. The shockwave will be staggering. Oh, see, people know. Germany is destroying Europe once again. It's the third time in around 100 years. Well, you know what they say. Behind every European tragedy, there is a smiling Subusk. Subusk is a German subscriber of mine. Behind every European tragedy, there is a smiling Derfo 20. See, Derfo 20 is not German because he's got dollars. Is anyone with the euro sign? Oh, no Germans. See, this is why the Germans don't like me. This is why the Germans don't like me, because I say the truths. I'm a truther. People are saying it's the fourth time. Will it affect countries outside the European Union too? Of course it will, because the economy of the world is really intertwined in this day and age. Now, if you have Trump in office, I'm pretty sure he will make everything possible for you guys to feel the least amount of brunt from this shit. But yeah, for like when the American crisis hit, when the banking crisis in America hit, it hit Romania too. So just so you understand, like, there is no more. Yeah, you know, the only countries that maybe doesn't influence the world are countries that aren't part of these unions and shit. It's like, oh, you know, Mexico is going through an economic crisis. It's like, oh, okay, that's bad, but, you know, like, it's not going to affect America. You know, like, Brazil is going through an economic crisis. Well, you know, like, sucks to be Brazilian, but the people in Europe don't care. But when, like, the European Union or China or the United States is going through a crisis, that's bad. Is Styx really blocked in Poland? I don't know, but I heard he's blocked in Germany. Love Crowder's changed my mind with the German woman. Germany just needs more immigrants. That'll fix things. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, that's the immigrants are renowned for making loans at banks and then paying with interest. Let me know what you think. Oh no, this is what I say in my main videos. No, what do I say on my live streams? Oh, I know what I say in my live streams. I say, thank you for the donations. Therefore 20, Living John, Non-Vita Rex, Brainwash, Sarah J. Jacobson, and all the others who donated. I really thank you guys for watching. Do you need more asks? Because I cannot. I wouldn't know what I would do without you guys. Seriously though, seriously, it's a pleasure to entertain you and to read the chat. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, or maybe today on my main channel. Haven't decided. I want to take a break for one day from uploading videos, and every single time I do so, some ridiculous stuff happens.